A billionaire sat in silence, watching a street vendor destroy his own life, not because he was failing, but because he was working too hard. 3 days in a row, he watched him suffer. On the fourth day, he stepped out of his car, and what he said next completely changed everything. If you've ever felt stuck, overworked, or like no matter how hard you try, you just can't get ahead, then this story is going to hit you hard. Subscribe to Silent Comeback, hit like, and get ready because this isn't just a story. It's a mindset shift that could change your entire life. The smoke burned Samar's eyes, not metaphorically, literally. Thick, greasy smoke rose from the grill as he flipped meat with mechanical precision, his hands moving faster than his thoughts. Sizzle, flip, press, repeat, 14 hours a day, every single day, no breaks, no weekends, no escape, and yet the line never stopped. Customers stretched halfway down the street, office workers, taxi drivers, students, all waiting for a taste of what many call the best meat in the entire city. But nobody saw what was costing him. Samar wiped sweat from his forehead with a sleeve. His back ached. His fingers were blistered. His breathing felt heavy. Just a little longer. Just a few more orders. That's what he told himself. Every single day. But across the street, someone else was watching. A black luxury car sat parked quietly. Inside, a billionaire observed everything. He didn't check his phone, didn't talk to anyone, just watched for 3 days straight. Day 1, he studied Samar's speed. Day 2, he studied the customers. Day 3, he studied the exhaustion. And what he saw wasn't hustle. It was a trap. On the 4th day, something changed. The car door opened. For the first time, the billionaire stepped out. People noticed immediately. Expensive suit, calm presence, the kind of quiet confidence you don't question. He walked straight to the cart. Samar noticed him and quickly adjusted his posture. Big customer. He thought, maybe a catering order. Maybe finally something big. He forced a tired smile. Welcome, sir. What can I get you? The billionaire didn't answer. He looked at the grill, at the smoke, at the chaos. Then slowly, he shook his head. You're losing money every second you stand here. Samar blinked. What? He laughed nervously and pointed to the long line. I think you're mistaken. Look around. I can barely keep up. I'm doing everything I can. The billionaire nodded slightly. I know. Then he leaned in closer. And that's exactly the problem. Samar felt something shift. Annoyance, confusion, a little anger. What do you mean? The billionaire's voice remained calm. You built something valuable, but you've trapped it inside your own hands. Samar frowned. I don't understand. The billionaire pointed at the grill. That recipe, that flavor, that's your asset. Then he pointed at Samar. But you are the bottleneck. Those words hit harder than expected. Bottleneck? Samar clenched his jaw. I don't have the luxury to think like that. I have rent, bills, reality. Exactly, the billionaire replied. And that's why you'll stay here forever, unless you change the way you think. Samar felt heat rising, but not from the grill this time. You think it's easy? Talking about systems and scaling? That's something rich people say after they've already made it. The billionaire didn't argue, didn't get defensive. Instead, he smiled. Then prove me wrong. Silence. Even the sound of the grill seemed to fade for a moment. What? Samar asked. Tomorrow. The billionaire said, don't cook. Samar almost laughed. That's not possible. Do it anyway. Then he continued. Take your spice blend. Package it. Sell it. Samar stared at him like he'd lost his mind. To who? Other restaurants. With what money? The billionaire stepped back slightly. Zero. That word lingered. Zero. No investment. No risk. No excuses. The billionaire said, sell first. Get paid. Then produce. Samar's mind raced. This sounded insane. Impossible. Dangerous. But also different. That night, Samar barely slept. His body screamed for rest. But his mind wouldn't stop. What if he's right? What if I'm stuck? What if this is my only chance out? The next morning, for the first time in years, Samar didn't turn on the grill. Customers showed up, confused, annoyed, some even left angry. But Samar didn't move. Instead, he held a small glass jar in his hand, his spice blend, his secret, his leverage, restaurant number 1. The owner barely listened. Not interested. Restaurant number 2. Come back later. Rejection. Again and again. Doubt crept in. This was a mistake. But then, restaurant number 3. The owner took a small taste, paused, then leaned forward. What is this? Samar felt his heart pound. My recipe. The owner nodded slowly. This is different. Samar didn't hesitate. I'll license it to you. Monthly subscription. Exclusive flavor. The owner raised an eyebrow. And why would I do that? Because this, Samar said confidently, will double your meat sales. Silence. Then, all right, the owner said, I'll try it. Upfront payment. Cash. Right there, something clicked. Samar wasn't selling food anymore. He was selling value. Restaurant 4. Another yes. Restaurant 5. Another deal. 3 clients. All paid up front. Samar stood there holding money he hadn't worked 14 hours for. Money that didn't require him to burn his hands. Money that didn't depend on his time. For the first time, he understood. He used their money to produce the spice. Scaled carefully. Focused on systems. Refined the offer. Improved the packaging. Built relationships. Month after month, more restaurants joined. Meanwhile, the same people who once stood in line at his cart, now they were unknowingly eating his flavor. Everywhere. And here's where the revenge quietly begins. Because the same restaurant owners who once ignored him, the same ones who rejected him, they started noticing something. Customers weren't asking for their food anymore. They were asking for that flavor. Samar's flavor. Soon, those same owners came back. Not with arrogance, but with desperation. Can we get your seasoning? Samar looked at them calmly. The same way they once looked at him. Subscription only, he said, up front. 2 years later, Samar stood in a completely different place. No smoke, no grill, no exhaustion, just a clean office and numbers on a screen. $1.4 million per year. Recurring, predictable, scalable, hundreds of restaurants. All are paying him monthly, all depending on his system. One day, he walked past his old street, the same spot, the same chaos. But this time, he wasn't part of it. He watched silently, just like the billionaire once did. And across the street, another man was burning himself out, working endlessly. Trapped, Samar smiled slightly, not out of arrogance, but understanding. Sometimes the hardest truth to accept is this. Hard work alone doesn't set you free. It traps you. If you don't build something bigger than yourself, if the story made you think differently, even for a second, hit that like button, comment below. Would you have taken that risk? And subscribe to Silent Comeback. Because while most people are still waiting for the right time, others are quietly building empires from nothing. And you might just be next.